Okay, what we're gonna do for entertainment today is we're gonna compression test a 51 Olds 303 motor. We ran it a week or so ago and it started right up, no lifter noise, so we were very impressed. But the way I do things, and everybody does them differently, is I'm gonna do a cold compression test. Cold compression test will help tell how even the cylinders are and how much compression they have in them, okay? To me, that tells a motor how good the motor is inside, okay? So if you do a cold compression test and it's even, that means as it warms up, it gets better. If it's uneven, it might be a little bit more wore out, or the rings might not be seated all the way from sitting. You know, just depends on how long it's been sitting, where it's been sitting, and all that stuff. So what we're gonna do is run a cold compression test on it, and then we're gonna go ahead and see what the levels are. And here we go. So what we're gonna do first is pull all the spark plug wires and make sure they're in order first. Bam, 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 so they're easy to put back on. We go to refire it, which in this case they are. So we're gonna pull all the spark plug wires and keep them in an order anyway, as best we can. He's been on here a while. There we go. Okay, so we'll just lay this aside here like this. And hand me the spark plug socket and ratchet and all that stuff. So we already ran the motor, like I said. The oil pressure gauge was good, according to what the dash gauge says, and they're pretty accurate. So now what we're gonna do is pull all the spark plugs out, I think. Let's see. Watch out for that. Get that out of here. Get that glass thing out of here so I don't break it. I don't want to break that. And you want to go ahead and look at the spark plugs and see how they're burning. Let's see, let me look here. So you want to see that's running a little fuel rich, which is okay because I was pouring gas down the carburetor to run it. We're just doing it manually, so that's just gas from pouring it down the carburetor. All right, sweet. It's on. It's on. Okay, so we got all the spark plugs pulled out of the cylinders. Okay, and we look at the plugs. Let's see, can we see that okay? And all of them are, you know, just fuel fouled, okay? None of them have any signs of oil coming past the rings, otherwise it would have some kind of a collection of carbon on it. So now what we're gonna do, just look at all the plugs, blah, blah, blah. I always set them in a row. So from front to rear, I can look at them and see if any are burning worse than others, or plug fouled, or you know, any of the stuff you got to check. So now we're going to compression test it, and we'll write it on something so we know that if any of the cylinders are lower than the other, or if they're all even. All right. Okay, so when you do a compression test, you check the threads of the spark plug, and you'll have two different kinds of compression tester threads, okay? Okay, so you have two different thread choices. You have the long reach, short reach. This plug takes the short reach because it's got short threads, okay? So that's the one you want to use. You don't want to use the long thread because you'll put it in past the cylinder and a piston will hit it. Don't want to do that. That's a no-no. Short with short, okay? Okay, ready? We're going to thread this old girl in here like this. Make sure and do it nice and slow so you don't cross thread anything. Go ahead and plug it in here. And you're going to want to spin the motor over like 4 times. Watch the gauge, okay? Here's the gauge. And he's going to tell me when it's topped out. Oh, wait. Shut it off. Got to put the battery back in. It's on. Okay, so we're going to crank it over. He's going to put the camera on the gauge, and then when it tops out, we know that's compression. Okay. Usually about 4 revolutions will give you the height of the compression. And so far it looks like we are at, holy cow, 190. Good for it. 150, 60, 70, 80, 180, 180. So since this is a parts car, we're gonna go ahead and write it right here on the fender, 180. And then we'll go on to the next one. That's really good. Okay. These are a fairly high compression motor, so of course it'll come up quite a bit. And coming through this side. Okay, ready?
Alright.
Got about 4 or 5 cranks.
About as many as you need.
Okay, that is going to be 150, 160, 170, which is really good. 170. Okay. Okay. Go again.
Not quite. Okay. About 110.
Okay.
You're getting.
Okay, 110.
That don't seem too good.
Well, no, that's just, it's off, but wait till you warm it up and then comp it again. So, okay. There we go. Oh, shoot. I should have did the last one first. It's always easier that way. Okay. Go hit the starter button for me. Okay. Yep, it's 190. Okay. 190 in the rear, 110 in the next one up, 170 and 180. So we're off by a little bit, but that was a cold compression, and that's on the driver's or passenger side. The driver's side is 190, 160, 160, and 170. So now what we're gonna do is fire it up and warm it up. For perfection, it would be nice if the compression was all even, but this is an older motor and sitting, and who knows the history on it, you know what I mean? So we're gonna fire it up and let you know what the heck's going on here. Thank you. Okay, so what we've done is warmed it up, but we haven't warmed it up enough because he didn't bring enough gas. So I'm gonna have him go run and get some more gas, and we'll warm it up for a little bit longer. Okay, now what we're gonna do is just pull the one spark plug with the 110 hole and see if she comes up when she's warm. Go ahead and crank it over. Keep going. Okay. So, that came up from 110 to 170, just like that. Okay, so that means this Jewel is just as nice as I thought it was. Not perfect by far, but for her age, I am very, very confident that I can sell this motor, and the guy will love it.